Pre-trip inspection using the vehicle checkoff list of all safety critical items. Steering axle, tires, ICD, inflation, condition, and depth. Using a tire gauge, I'm going to check for proper inflation of about 100 PSIs. Condition, I'll be inspecting for any cuts, bulges, or blimps, divots in the inner and outer sidewalls. I'll be checking the valve cap, make sure it's not missing and the valve stem is not broken or damaged. It is not leaking. I would check the depth of the tires using a tire depth gauge. The steer tire and the tire groove should be no less than 430 seconds on the steering axle and 230 seconds on all other tires. The rim and the wheels, I am inspecting for cracks or bent rims. It cannot have no illegal welding repairs. Make sure it's not damaged. It shows no signs of rust trails, which could indicate that the rim is loose. I'm going to inspect all studs and bolt holes to make sure they are not elongated or out of round. There is no missing or loose nuts or bolts. Lug nuts, I'll be checking the lug nuts. Make sure they're all present. I'll be checking for rust trails or shiny threads that may indicate or show looseness. Also make sure there are no broken studs on all wheels of the vehicle. Springs and airbags and shocks. I'll be checking, I would expect that the front and rear spring mounts are not cracked, broken, or missing any nuts or bolts or any other parts. This leaf spring is not shifted, cracked, or broken. I would expect the shock. The shock is security mounted, not damaged, and it is not leaking. I would expect the side of the vehicle and the tractor, make sure it is sitting level from front to rear, side to side. If it was leaning, there'll be indication of a suspension problem. Brake line and hoses. I would inspect all brake lines or hydraulic fluid hoses and make sure none are leaking. They're not leaking air, or if it's hydraulic, not leaking fluid. I would check the hoses, make sure they're not cracked, cut, or frayed, and that all hose couplings and fittings are secure. To brake contaminants, I'm going to look on this drum and the brake lining and make sure there's no contaminants such as grease or oil on the brake pads or lining or the drum, which could affect braking of the vehicle. I'm going to go back and check my checkoff list. So here we are. We checked the tires, we checked the rims, we checked the lug nuts, the springs. I told the examiner that there's no airbags on the steer, so the examiner should cross that off. But if you want to go back to the drive and show them where the airbag is and how you inspect it, that's a good choice to do. You'll say airbag mounts are security mounted, not damaged. The airbags itself is security mounted, not damaged, and not leaking. The shocks, we check the shocks. Brake lines, we check the brake lines if it's a hydraulic or air, and we check for leaks. So we got that, so we can check that off. And we check for brake contaminants such as grease or oil. Okay, on the next video, we'll go back and we'll do the side of the vehicle. And on combination, we'll start with the trailer, with the connections of the airlines to the tractor and the trailer, and we'll go down. Learn this, practice, and then get it right. And when you're ready to move on, then you move on to the next section. Some students may need to do it this way, and we'll see you on the next run. Practice, and you will pass that pre-trip.